All right, listen carefully. Your wife is giving you a hidden test right now. And the harder you try to pass it and get her to open up to you, the more you fail and push her further away. I want you to think back to when you first met her. Remember how she used to light up when you shared your dreams with her? And then she'd call you over the smallest of decisions just to hear your voice. You guys would have those deep belly laughs and time would just fly by. I mean, the best sex ever, and you guys would just lay down next to each other at the end of the night, just holding her hand, looking her in the eyes, not saying a word to her because nothing needed to be said. But now, she's a different woman. Closed off, always busy, distracted, and every attempt at connection is met with eye rolls, scoffs, or just, I don't want to talk about that. You're not sure who she is anymore. And sometimes you think maybe better if she no longer even existed. And your instinct is, of course, to try harder, ask her more questions, push for connection. I mean, she's the same woman that knows everything about you and vice versa, right? This person that she's being, can it really be who she actually is? Here's the brutal truth. It is her. For now. And every time you try to get her to become the woman that you used to love, you're pushing her more and more away, telling her subconscious mind to close off even more. The woman you married is still inside of there, but she's hiding behind walls that you have helped her build. And when she shuts down emotionally, when she becomes distant and cold, that's not her giving up on the marriage. That's her unconscious way of testing whether you're the kind of man who can handle her deepest self. Because let me tell you, most advice online about this is completely wrong. It's honestly dangerous. It makes sense to just try to fix things, right? Drag her to therapy, but this especially doesn't work when she's already checked out. It'll only be the nail in the confirmation coffin of your divorce. And trying to logically talk sense into her using the kids and the memories, or even going no contact to show her that, I don't need her, she can see that's all a ruse, that behind it all, it's manipulation just to try to get her back. Now, the reason none of those methods work is because they all come from a place of what I call symptomatic supplication. Is essentially that your behavior is dictated on a reaction to her behavior, which means you're letting her lead the frame. So in the next few minutes, I'm gonna show you why, first of all, she's completely changed into a different person. I'll show you 3 behaviors most men do that's in alignment with symptomatic supplication that are the final nails in the marriage coffin. And then conversely, I will show you the answers to those 3 symptomatic supplication problems with apex behaviors meant to remove those nails, to open up not just the marriage recovery process, but her emotional walls for intimacy, emotionally and physically again. All right, let's talk about Rick's story. Rick was best friends with his wife. He recalls spending full days with her, laughing on inside jokes, sharing vulnerable moments, going through tragedies and new experiences together. I mean, they were inseparable. He knew from the corners of his soul that she was meant for him. The thought of laying down in his bed, holding her hand, looking her in the eyes, it made him weep. So you can imagine how gut-wrenching it was to see the same woman just treat him like a stranger. Someone he used to talk to every single day. Someone he would share every single meal with. And now she wanted nothing to do with him. I mean, how is that even possible? The only thing he could think was that God was somehow punishing him for his sins. That was the only rationalization that it really come to him. He thought maybe if he could just speak to that part of her, if he can get her to experience the same memories that he had in his mind from the past, she would give him another chance. So of course he tried that. He would say things like, you don't want to let go of all the past memories and all the plans we built for the future, do you? And her response was simply, yeah, those things were nice, but sometimes things change. I mean, what about the vows? Surely if he could get her to remember that day till death do us part, he would even bring the kids into it. And she would say things like, I actually think it's better for the kids. I mean, studies show that separate parents that are happier individually are better for the kids. So she could find her own rationalizations for everything that he brought up. No matter what he tried, she had a reason to combat it. How do women become completely different people when they decide they want to let go of the relationship? The thing is that women have different parts of them. She has her child self, her divine self, her crazy self, and her protector self. Lots of other selves, okay? There's even this assessment from Positive Intelligence and Modality that I have all my individuals take, the clients that come into the program, and we can assess different saboteurs that they have and the different levels of those saboteurs. It's actually a free assessment you can check by clicking the link down below. The point of this is that she's only showing you that part of her right now because she has to protect herself. For example, there's a famous clip going around about how a woman will act like a mother when she's dating a boy, but a woman will act like a child when she's with a man. And right now, she's protecting herself because she doesn't feel safe with you. Yes, the inner loving woman, her real self is still there. It's just hidden under walls and layers of protection over the years of being hurt by you. But how did she get here? To many men, it seems like it was just overnight, right? And you're not wrong in a way, but let me show you how she just immediately just flipped on a dime, it seems like. In every single person's mind, we all have this inner tipping scale. It stores all the positive and negative emotions. From a reductionistic point of view, everything you do, you're either going towards something or you're running away from it. Love and growth and providing things and food and sex, all these things, positive emotions, they get elicited through those things, okay? Those positive experiences. And then we also have things we run away from that we're afraid of. Now, your subconscious mind, it automatically stores up all the emotional experiences with certain experiences and even people. So when you first met her, together. You had all these positive emotional experiences that you guys were getting together. I mean, the first kiss, falling in love, marriage, kids, I mean, you name it, right? They were all going into the positive perspective. And so when she thought of you, when she saw you, when you guys were together, it was just all positive. You saw herself, since you were so much value to her, she had those walls down and she could open up and be vulnerable to you because you only gave her value. In this positive perspective, you could do no wrong. Even when you did something kind of small, it's still like, not a big deal, right? But over time, through thousands and thousands of iterations of doing the wrong thing, of not showing up for her, of hiding that thing from her, she caught you in a lie. Just over time, this would start to balance out, right? And when it was pretty much even, she would still show you like, yeah, things are pretty even, right? I still, there's problems, but you guys are still committed, still together, right? But as soon as this tipping point occurred, it looked like this. And it seemed like it completely flipped. When the ratio went from 1-to-1, from positive experiences to negative, as soon as that -1 hit, it completely flipped the script for her. Now this is called negative sentiment override. Now I'm gonna show you the 3 main behaviors that I see most men do that can really cause the woman to really go into this negative sentiment. And then at the very end of this video, I'm gonna show you the 3 behaviors, the apex actions that will have you essentially flip the script back into the positive perspective again. All right, let's talk about the 3 main issues and let's show you through Rick's story again. So the first violation Rick showed was a lack of respect. Whenever Bella would get triggered about something or she would have a criticism, no matter what it was about, he would always accuse it on her trauma or that she was just being insecure. He would say things like, "You're just being anxious because of your childhood. I hear the conversations with your mom and that's exactly how you talk to your mom." Look, this is why it destroyed her safety. He was essentially saying, your feelings aren't real. You're broken. I know you better than you know yourself. And no one wants to feel that way, okay? The second violation that Rick did was what I call covert contracts. You see, Rick moved his whole entire family across the country just so his wife Bella could have her dream job. Because of this, he expected so much appreciation. Whenever she would get mad at him about something, he would think, I moved myself across the whole country just for you. I left all my friends just for you, and you don't even appreciate me. So whenever he didn't feel appreciated enough by the giant sacrifice that he made, without letting her know that he was sacrificing, he just did it, it completely destroyed her trust in him. She could feel his resentment. She knew his generosity came with invisible strings attached. So every time he was nice, she would think, oh, what are you expecting of me now? She felt like she was always in this emotional debt in keeping the score. The third violation Rick did with his wife was he stopped leading. He became a passenger of his own life. Of course, there's a lack of micro leadership, always asking what are we doing tonight, never making decisions himself. But on the macro level, he had no vision for where the family was going beyond getting the kids to college. The third lack of leadership he had was the lack of internal leadership. You see, every time that they would get in communication with each other, Rick led with his fear and then Bella responded. And whenever he saw her fear or her insecurity, he would again blame it on her trauma instead of realizing that he was the one that can hold the stronger frame to make her feel safe and lead that way. And then finally, the fourth lack of leadership was his communication leadership. You see, every time they would get in a fight, he would always just want to leave or he would just kind of shut her down. He never really wanted to talk about these deep issues. And every time she was being negative, he told her to just be happy, just be optimistic. Why you always got to complain about things? Not everything is negative. But he didn't see that negativity was an honest experience she was having. And the more he tried to push it away, the more it doubled down in how she felt. Let's talk about the 3 apex actions that you can replace those negative behaviors with. So instead of seeing her test as criticism, nagging, jabbing, or unprocessed trauma, you need to start seeing those actions for what they actually are, which are tests. David Data, the author of The Way of the Superior Man, talks about her testing. He says, every moment of your life is either a test or a celebration. The same is true about every moment with your woman. Only doubly so. Not only is her simple existence a test for you, but one of her deepest pleasures in intimacy is testing you and then feeling you are not moved off course by her challenge. Go back and listen to that again, read it with so much intent and understand every word is truth. Here's what most men fail to realize. It's a test, because in that moment, she's feeling unsafe and wants you to respond in the correct way that shows her that you are still the man that she met and fell in love with. And every time you react, you get defensive, you dismiss her, you shut down, you use logic, you are failing the test. You are afraid of her emotions. When she says, you never listen to me, she's not making an actual factual statement. She's saying, right now, I'm feeling unheard and disconnected. She is saying, show me that you can handle my emotions without making it about you. When she pulls away her physicality, she's not rejecting you. She's saying, I don't feel safe being vulnerable with you right now. Show me you could be present with my distance without chasing me. And when she gets emotional about something that seems so small to you, she's not being irrational. She's saying, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now, and I need you to be my rock when I'm not feeling my strongest. Every test is an invitation to show up as the man that she wants you to be. Now let me give you a concrete example of how Rick failed versus what he should have done. See, the test with Bella was that she came home stressed and snapped at him. She said, the house is a mess. The kids are wild, and you're just sitting there watching TV. I can't do everything myself. Now, Rick's failed response in that time, because he was stressed out. He said, I work 50 to 60 hours a week every week. I deserve to relax when I get home, even if it's just for an hour. And the house isn't even that bad. You're being dramatic. What this communicated to Bella was, your feelings don't matter. I'm more important than you. You're wrong about your own experience, and so shut up. Now, the correct response was this. That's right. You shouldn't have to do everything yourself. I just need a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna do everything on you. Maybe you can help me. See, he's still getting what he needs, but he's communicating it in a completely different way. He's leading with calm certainty and reassurance. Do you see the difference there? The first response is very reactive. It's defending, it's explaining, it's making it about yourself. However, the other response is responsive, present, and fully accountable. And it's also solutions focused. But here's the skill that makes all the difference. And it's one most men are terrified to actually learn. It is called the art of upsetting your wife. You need to learn to say no to her the correct way. Before we jump into the final point here, I just want to let you know that you have the opportunity to set up a strategy call with our team down below. It's absolutely free, but the reason why it's free is because we only select certain qualified men. Now we're looking for men that are ready to do something different. They're fully invested and ready to just save their marriage and try something different. And they are men that are taking full accountability for their part of it. So if all those things align, you can click the link down below. There are limited spots each week. Set up a call with our team, and let's get to the last point. You know the saying, happy wife, happy life? It is the most destructive lie ever told from spineless men who couldn't stand up for themselves in marriage. Controversial, I know. But here's what Rick learned the hard way. A woman cannot and will not feel safe with a man that doesn't feel okay upsetting her from time to time. I mean, think about it. You're walking on eggshells around her, aren't you? If you're constantly managing her emotions, if you're saying yes when you mean to say no just to keep the peace, what you're really telling her is that she's too powerful for you. And you're scared of her. You're scared of losing her. And if she's scary to you and her emotions and your fear of losing her, how could she want to be with you? Think about it. You see, one time with Rick and Bella, she wanted to spend $3,000 on a new living room furniture set. Rick knew he could not afford it. It wasn't in the budget. But he was afraid of saying no to her. So old Rick would say, okay, honey, whatever makes you happy. I mean, it's a little expensive, but I think we can manage it, being all shy and timid. The new Rick would say, I love that you want to make our home so beautiful, but we can't afford $3,000 right now without really going into debt. So, solutions focused, let's set a goal to save it for over the next 6 months, and then we can get it. Her response when you say the correct thing, she was initially upset for sure, but after a few hours, she calmed down and she actually respected him a lot more because he held firm to his boundaries. And that is a man she can respect. And a man can only stay with a woman when she respects him. Now, before I get into this last piece about respect, I want to let you know that at the very end of this video, I'm going to share with you my testing framework video, which is the most powerful video on this whole entire channel. So stay tuned for that. I should do a whole deep dive on the topic of respect, and I think I will. But for now, let me share this with you. If you didn't know by now, this is you. You are a Jenga set. And these are all the different pieces of you. It's all your values, your boundaries, your ideals, the hobbies you love. This is you, man. This is the complex version of you. And when you first met her, you were a full man. You were on your path, you were close to God, you were confident, you were healthy, things were going pretty well. And then one time you had that hobby that you usually go to, but it was the only time she could really hang out with you, and you wanted to do her a favor, so you didn't go do that thing that you love doing that really helps you week by week. And remember that first conflict you had with her where you thought to yourself she was overreacting a little bit and you didn't want to say your piece, but she was really upset, and so once you got her to calm down, you didn't really vocalize your needs. And then remember that one huge fight you had, like that first huge fight you guys had, and she didn't talk, you guys didn't talk for a while, and you guys were screaming at each other, it was really bad. And as soon as she felt better, because if you brought it up, it would just go back to the way things were, and you didn't want that to happen. And remember when you guys haven't had sex for a while and you also wanted to bring it up, but instead of telling her directly, you kind of just tried these other tactics, but that didn't work either. And then eventually just over time, just over the years, you started giving away pieces, who you are, until there was nothing really left. And then finally, the moment you lost yourself, you fell apart when she left. And a lot of guys, they want to blame the woman for leaving them at the lows. I loved her so much. Really, you weren't loving yourself. And her leaving is a wake-up call to remind yourself how to build yourself back up. And that's what we help guys do. So if you want to build yourself up, clean up the mess, come back stronger than before, well, you know how to do that. Here's the video on Tess. Much love to you, man. Talk soon.